Alan, how you doing?
Okay, if we can find our seats, we're going to start here in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. Yeah. So hopefully everybody had a great morning. We have a great afternoon scheduled for you. We did the same exact thing this morning, and it was quite dynamic. Loved every minute of it. So we're hoping that you're going to do the same. We had standing room only this morning. It was 600 plus people in here, so a much smaller group. And I already told the group in the back that Duncan really likes to call on people, and when you sit in the back, usually you're up here anyway because you're going to call on you. But I hope everybody had a great time. Welcome back to school. We're very, very excited about what we have in store for you this afternoon. And for those of you who don't know me, if anybody's new, Tom McNair, Assistant Superintendent for Instructional Programs. And let's get going. So I will turn it over to Dr. Rebecca Stone, who is going to do some opening remarks. Dr. Stone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to see everyone here. I've missed this group and all of the great things that you do with students. So we are going to get right to it. We have so many things that we need to do today. I did want to introduce myself to people who I haven't met yet. There are a couple of them out there. My name is Rebecca Stone, and I'm the superintendent. And before we get our program underway, I do want to introduce our board members. So up front, we have sitting Michonne Stewart, Peter Nowacki. Thank you for being here. So you all know Sandy Rufo. Sandy Rufo is our board president. She was not able to be here today. She is doing work with the New York State School Boards Association.
I'm here. I'm so sorry I'm late, but I wouldn't have missed this for the world.
Sandy, it's so good to see you. I could have swear you said that you had something going on with the New York State School Boards Association, no?
Well, I was finished up late last night in Long Island, and I got on the road. And when I knew that your opening day theme, what are you laughing at? When I heard that your theme this year was belonging begins with BOCES, I thought, I can kind of relate to that. This is actually my 30th anniversary of being on the BOCES team. Thank you. And, I just felt that being of that stature, 30 years that I belonged here. So anyway, I got home and I slept for a couple of hours and the alarm didn't go off. And this is the result. Oh boy.
Just so you know, with your messy hair and everything,
Yeah.
we know you belong here.
We expect perfection out of you, though, my friend.
Oh my
So
goodness.
how can we help you out? How can we make you feel like you're belonging?
You already are.
Oh, we
Just
are.
by being here and doing all this for me.
We have some beauticians in our midst.
Oh, where?
But,
Do you think I need it?
I think she might need to help you a little.
I got a comb, it'll fix you right up.
Oh, is this not the sweetest? This is belonging personified. Oh.
Nikki, you've got our Metacat. Why don't you bring our Metacat up? This is our companion cat. It's going to help relax Sandy.
Sandy, we want you to feel comfortable. Here's a cat to help you feel nice and relaxed.
Is this like a caring cat?
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for helping. Sandy has got our Metacat. It is our mechanical companion through the Blick. So I'm so glad that you're here.
Well, it probably looks like I ran a marathon.
It did, but you're looking great. You're looking great.
Well, there's no place I'd rather be, even if I did just get out of bed and didn't have a chance to kind of get ready for the day. But I just want, for future reference, whoever is a script writer, I have been here 30 years. That door is really close. I could run from there to here a lot easier.
So noted.
Okay. Al, I just want you to know how much we appreciate everything that you do to make us feel like we belong.
Thanks, Sandy. And I appreciate the compliment, but it's been a couple years now, and I'm Rebecca.
Oh my gosh, I am so embarrassed. Oh no.
on schedule for opening day, just like opening time. I'm sorry about my apparel, but
I just want to know, don't retirees have a dress code? Okay.
my suits to matching.
I'm glad you could make it, Al. And even though he's been retired a couple of years, we all know that Al will always belong. I personally know because the building outside my office is named after him. But it's glad to have you back, whether it's Al or anyone that's here. We're so thankful to have you.
So glad to see you. You know, Rebecca, there are truly going to be times, though, when I can't be here because of my other obligations.
I know, but don't worry, admin team. Tom's still not ready. I tell you, we got your back.
Oh, my.
We got you, Sandy.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I am so... Oh, geez.
So whether
Holy
she's here or not, we're going to be looking like her.
I don't know if I should be flattered or worried.
I might be a little worried if I were you. So as we go forward, we wanted to make sure that everyone knew that belonging at BOCES, belonging here is our theme this year. Whether it's Al, who's been retired for a couple of years, it's our teachers, our aides, our monitors, our food service people, anyone who happens to be working here at BOCES, you belong.
Well, I'm so proud, sincerely, to be a part of this incredible BOCES community. And hopefully we'll work hard to make this the best year ever and be there for everyone so that everyone, students, staff alike, and all those in between feel as if they belong. Thank you so much.
So I'm hoping that's a much more positive experience for Sandy. I told her to remember the good things as we get towards the end of the year with my evaluation and not some of the other things that might make her a little more nervous. So we are going to get going with our program. Belonging begins here at BOCES. We wanted to make sure that we knew, you're going to hear over and over and over, not only do you belong, but you make our kids feel like they belong. A lot of the students that you have are ones that feel like they don't belong anywhere else. And it's because of all of the hard work that you do day in and day out that those kids walk out into the real world, not only knowing they belong, but they belong with purpose. So thank you for all that you do. We're going to get going on with the rest of our presentation and have an amazing year.
All right, so like I said, we have a great afternoon scheduled for you. I'd like to introduce Carrie Bolt to come to the stage. Carrie is the Assistant Superintendent for our PLIC, and she's going to introduce our keynote speaker. Carrie.
Thanks, Tom. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the 24-25 school year. Excited to be here with you all today. And I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote today, Duncan Kirkwood. Duncan is the director of the Center for Resiliency at Villa Maria College and was a master resilience trainer in the United States Army. He is the author of Rerouting, Resilience Tools and Tactics, and is excited to share some strategies with you all today. He enjoys all of the Marvel Avengers movies, hopefully some of you can relate, and helping others in achieving their goals. Please join me in welcoming Duncan Kirkwood.
Thanks. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. It's like an echoey. Y'all hear that? Or is that just me? You hear it? Feedback. Test, test. He said, cut the gain. Check, check. Is that good? Can y'all hear me in the back? Ish? Yeah? All right. That'll work. All right. my name is Duncan Kirkwood. I'm so happy to be here. It's an honor to be a part of your first day back. I'm a global resilience trainer, so I travel all over the world helping people to build their resilience. I got my start doing this work while I was serving in the Army. What happened is, what happened is in 2012, we actually lost more soldiers to suicide than we lost in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. So the Department of Defense issued an order to train more officers like me to become master resilience trainers so we could help to build soldier mental toughness and mental agility. Now that I'm out the military, I work with educators, I work with young people all over the world. And when I say all over the world, I mean last year I went to East Singapore to work with educators, I went to Calcutta, India, and all across the United States. So I take this really seriously, especially because resilience is one of those things that is a huge difference maker in the lives of young people. I struggled with resilience when I was younger. I was one of those kids where I had all this potential and everybody could see it, but I struggled with grit and resilience. So when things got tough, I folded. So for example, I played Little League Baseball, and I was amazing. Okay, I was like Kobe Bryant in Little League Baseball, right? But when I turned 13, I went from being the biggest kid with the smaller group to the smallest kid with the teenagers, right? And so I'm in practice one day, first day in practice, the fastball comes. I said, oh my gosh, I dropped the bat. I said, what was that? Because that ball was fast. So after a couple of days of practice, I said, Dad, I don't love baseball no more. And I quit. I haven't been on the baseball field since. When I was in high school, when schoolwork would get hard and it took longer than 20 minutes or 30 minutes to learn something, I would just say, I can't do it, and just kind of throw my hands up. In college, I was majoring in journalism. I was going to be a news writer. And after a year of getting all my papers and stories given back to me with all these red marks, I just said, you know what, this ain't for me. I changed my major. I struggle with grit and resilience. Do y'all work with any students like that or colleagues like that or anybody in your life that you know they can do more, but they need that grit? Raise your hand if you dealt with some folks like that, right? So my hope today is that I can help give you skills to work with young people like that, work with colleagues like that, work with anybody in your life to help them build that resilience, but also to help you build your resilience, because we all struggle with that sometimes too, even as adults, right? Now listen, when I was in the Army, if I had a room full of people like this, like a room full of soldiers, and I'm talking and the soldiers are feeling me, they would shout out, hey! And that's the vibe I want from y'all. So on the count of three, I want to hear everybody say as loud as you can. 1, 2, 3. I said as loud as you can. 1, 2, 3. Woo! I was just going to wait. I was going to roll with it. All right. Y'all have that afternoon energy, and I don't like it. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to count to 3, and then everybody's going to stand up, and you're going to give 5 people high fives. And hold on, wait. And all of y'all that's way in the back, as you give your high fives, make your way down to these 30 seats that's empty in front of me. All right? So here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Yeah, it's okay. Thanks, man. Sound okay to you? I'm not seeing enough lines of people. There we go. From the back. Lady right there who just looked at me with the colorful shirt. Yes, you. Come on down. Get your friend and come on. Yeah. Follow this guy right here in the white t-shirt. He knows what's going on. Hey, sir, don't sit down with the hat on. With the hat on. No. Don't sit down. I'm talking to you. Come on. Yeah. Come on down. It's like the price is right. Like, come on down. Yeah. Y'all give them some love as they come up here. I spent 3.5 hours through the day this morning to get here. I would like y'all to sit closer to me. All right. Oh, he took a hit of Yui on me? It's okay. It's all good, sir. It's all love, man. All right, so listen up. Thank y'all for coming up to the front. Before I can get into my presentation, I've got to make sure that y'all are here with me. Because you can be here and not be here at the same time. Does anybody know how that's possible? Oh, lady right there. Young lady right there. How can you be here and not be here? You know what I'm talking about. Yes, you, who just tilted her head. Yeah. How can you be here and not be here at the same time? Say it louder. I'm about to see it happen. Ooh. We'll see about that. We'll see. All right. Who knows? How can you be here and not be here at the same time? Let me get a good answer. No, you was here earlier, weren't you? Yeah, nice try. All right. Who else? Right there. You could be here physically, but not mentally. Let's give her a round of applause. I got a t-shirt for you. I'm just going to throw it as far as I can and hope for the best. Boom. Just walk away. I don't even know what happened. All right. So to make sure you all are here with me, we're going to start with a listening activity. I'm going to read you a story and ask you one question. If you know the answer, you're going to raise your hand. Can I get everybody to raise your hand so I know you know what to do if you know the answer? If you don't know the answer, you're going to give me a thumbs down. Can I get everybody to give me a thumbs down so I know you know what to do? Raise a high though, no shameful thumbs down. All right, here we go. Now listen, y'all. This is real easy. All you have to do is listen. The group of teachers we had in here and educators and leaders we had in here earlier, they failed miserably. So I have higher hopes for you all right? You're holding it down for all of BOCES here, okay? Now remember, all you have to do is listen. Got it? Cool. You are driving a bus. At the first stop, 7 people get on the bus. At the second stop, 5 people get on the bus. At the third stop, 3 people get off the bus. Raise your hand if you know the name of the bus driver. Don't say it, just raise your hand. All right, where's my team? Thumbs down. Where's my honest people at? All right, all right. Okay, now, who knows they know 100%? All right, guy in the black t-shirt back there, don't say the answer. Yes, you, don't say the answer. But if you know the name of the bus driver, do you also know the age of the bus driver? Shout it out loud, yes or no? Yes. Blue shirt, do you know the name of the bus driver's favorite cousin? Yes. Lady right there with the big smile, not next to the lady pointing at herself though, right there. Do you know what the bus driver ate for dinner yesterday? Yes, okay. Now, everybody hands down. I want you to raise your hand if you are totally confused and you don't know what I'm talking about. Who's gonna be real with me? Raise it high, don't be shamed. There you go. All right, it's a little better than earlier. They did it all right. So here's the point of this exercise. Listen up. Shh. It's hard to listen. It's easy to get distracted and not be present in the moment. How many of y'all heard those passengers and started doing math? Started adding up passengers, right? It's easy to get distracted. But if you're going to take something from my message today, I need you guys to be present. Don't think you know what I'm going to say. Don't guess the answer. Just listen and be present. That makes sense. Say, who? All right, so that's the vibe we're going to go with today. Here's what we're going to discuss. Oh, wait, I didn't give y'all the answer for those who don't know. All right, let me, real quick, raise your hand again if you don't know the answer and you're ready to listen. You ready? I'm going to read the story again. So you missed it the first time, now you're ready. All right, you were here earlier. You did the play. You did the thing. Okay, lady right here with the hair. Were you here earlier? Okay, focus. I'm going to read the same story again. You ready? Here we go. You are driving a bus. At the first stop, 7 people get on the bus. The second stop, 5 people get on the bus. The third stop, 3 people get off the bus. Raise your hand if you know the name of the bus driver. Is that everybody? All right, we got it? Okay, cool. So look, here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about gratitude, presence, overcoming our ego, resilience, and self-care. My hope is, again, that I can give you some skills and tools to work with students like me who struggle with resilience and grit, but also to help you all. Because again, we all can learn to be a little more resilient as well. Make sense? Say what? we're going to take this resilience pledge. I will always place my mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. This is a mindset, a mantra you can use around resilience, right? When I say I will always place my mission first, you're saying when I set a goal for myself, that goal becomes the priority. So if your goal is by Friday, you are going to finish writing this book that you've been working on, right? That means on Wednesday, when there's a snowstorm or a day off of work, you're not just at home kicking your feet up, listening to the radio or some podcast or watching Netflix. You're working on your goal. Because you didn't say by Friday, I will achieve this unless there's inclement weather. I'm going to achieve this unless my kid has extra homework. You said I'm going to achieve this. You're going to make your goal a priority. I will never accept defeat. It doesn't say I won't have defeat. You're saying I know I'm going to get knocked down. I know it's not going to always work out for me, but I'm not going to accept it. And I will never quit means even if it takes longer than I thought, if it's harder than I thought, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to see it through to the end. So matter of fact, let's say it together. I'll say a line, you say it to me. I will always place my mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I love it. So we'll come back to that before we close out today, but I always like to start with the end in mind. Shout out to Stephen Covey. All right, so when we talk about resilience, we like to think that resilience is a teachable skill. Everybody can learn to be resilient. And if you're already resilient, you can learn to become more resilient. Think of it like a cup of water. Can everybody hold your hand up like you have a cup of water, please? When you have a setback in life, it's like having a spill out the cup of water, right? Matter of fact, everybody do this. Give me a little spill. Shoulder, like, yeah, hey, okay, relax. All right, so the idea is resilience is not, listen to me, resilience is not about stopping the spills. We cannot stop the setbacks in life. In fact, today's Tuesday afternoon. Raise your hand if you already had a setback this week. You've already had at least one thing go wrong or some adversity this week, right? So we can't stop the spills. Resilience and resilience skills are about pouring into the cup. See, because when that cup is low or that cup is empty, that's when you're at risk of burnout, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, suicide, depression, all those things. So we can't stop the spills, but we don't want our cup to be empty. So what do? We want to pour into the cup. And the first tool I'm going to give you to do that is called Hunt the Good Stuff. Last year, my grandmother passed away. She was 94 years old. Really amazing person. She was from a place called McCool, Mississippi. Right? It's like a place you can't find on a map. All right? And she would always say when I was growing up, count your blessings, baby, in this like really deep Southern accent. Anybody ever heard that phrase or some version of that phrase? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay. So apparently, according to military science, my grandma was a genius. And that counting your blessings or identifying good things in your life actually helps us to counteract the negativity bias. The negativity bias is this idea that we focus more on negative experiences in our lives than positive experiences. Let me put that in like normal everyday language. Have you ever had a good day? You know what I'm saying? Things are going good. One person cuts you off in traffic and you instantly start yelling and cursing and honking your horn, getting a whole attitude. Anybody in here? Come on, be real with me now. Yeah, I see you right there in the pink, right? So you had all these good experiences. One negative thing changed your whole energy. That's the negativity bias. So this exercise of Hunt the Good Stuff is to try to counteract that. A researcher named Dr. Fredrickson at the University of North Carolina, she found that it takes 3 positive experiences to overcome 1 negative experience. So the exercise of Hunt the Good Stuff is built on that concept. We're going to stop our day, pause for a moment, and name 3 good things that have happened in the last 24 hours. That's how the exercise goes. Now, we're about to do it. I'm not talking to y'all in theory. Y'all going to pair up in just a moment, and we're going to do this. Now, listen. Don't make it weird. Just grab the person next to you like, hey, you're with me, you know, that type of thing. All right. I'm going to go first. I'm going to show y'all how this goes. Then you all are going to pair up and I'm gonna give you 90 seconds, and you're just gonna name 3 good things that have happened in the last 24 hours. All right, I'll go first. Here we go. Number 1, I made it here safely this morning and close to on time. Sorry about that. Number 2, yesterday, me and some friends beat down some random guys in basketball. All right? I don't care if y'all are excited about it, it brought me joy, right? Number 3, let me think. Oh, I got some great feedback from a school in Olean, from some teachers in Olean that I spoke to. Wow. I didn't get rich. My whole life didn't change. I just named 3 small good things that have happened to me in the last 24 hours. But just by sharing that with you all, I actually feel better. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to count to 3, and then I'm going to give you 90 seconds. You all are just going to pair up. Just grab the person near you, and you are going to share your 3 good things, and they're going to share their 3 good things. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go! 30 seconds. Ten, 9, 8. And we're back. Come on back. Come on back. And everybody went silent in 3, 2, 1. That did not work. All right, so first of all, thank you for trying this out. I appreciate you giving this activity a shot. Can you raise your hand if it felt good to share your 3 good things? Cool, all right. Raise your hand if it felt even better to hear the other person's 3 good things. Right? So this is a great exercise to build positive energy, to build connection, but it also does something else. It's also a great check-in. I'll give you a story. One time I had my soldiers, it was 6 in the morning. We were at Fort McClellan in Alabama, and everybody's got an attitude because it's 6 in the morning, right? And so I say, let's hunt the good stuff. You know, I'm the resilience guy, like, you know, so we're going down the line, and everybody's naming their 3 good things. And then we get to one sergeant, and he's struggling, right? He's searching, trying to think of 3 good things. And one of the other soldiers tries to help him out. They shout out, hey, man, you woke up today. That's 1, right? And the sergeant says, I don't know if that's such a good thing. So then we had that kind of moment, right? Like, something's off here. And so I said, okay, hey, we'll get back to you. So I go down the line, get the other soldiers. I said, all right, y'all dismissed. Hey, sergeant, hang back. Because I could tell in this moment, he needed some support. Does that make sense, y'all? Not yet, y'all understand? Like, he needs some help right there. So we sit down, I'm about to give him some coaching, kind of see where he's at, and then the major walks in. So that's like 2 bosses above me. He said, Kirkwood, we got a meeting, let's go. The only answer in response to that is, yes, sir. All right. So I said, all right, Sergeant, I'll get back with you after this meeting. So I go in the meeting room. Now, this was a special meeting that we have in the Army. It's called Death by PowerPoint. It was like 190 slides on the PowerPoint. All right. So this meeting goes on for like 5.5 hours. We finally get out. I said, hey, where's Sergeant such and such? They say, oh, well, he's going to do a delivery and he's going to be dismissed for the day. I said, okay, I'll get with him tomorrow. Later that night, around 3 a.m., we get a phone call that this soldier had tried to take his own life. And thankfully, we had another soldier that was about 25 minutes away, was able to get to him and take him to the hospital. So he survived. We got him the help and support he needed, right? But it's 3 a.m., the whole brigade is on red alert. And I'm sitting in my car, and I realize, this is your fault, Duncan. This person needed help. It was clear they needed support, and I let my title, I let my job, my role stop me from helping the person that clearly needed help. So that's the first lesson. If somebody needs help, don't let your title, your job, what you're supposed to be doing in that moment stop you from helping somebody. But the bigger lesson was hunt the good stuff. Yes, it combats the negativity bias. Yes, it creates positive energy. Yes, it builds connection, but it's also a great check-in. Because the longer your student or your friend or family member or colleague, the longer it takes them to name 3 positive things in their life, the more support they may need, the more friendship they may need, the more counsel they may need. So this is a great exercise also to check in with people that you care about. That makes sense, y'all? Say who? All right. Next, we're going to talk about, there we go, resilience. This is my jam, y'all, because I help people break this connection they have to adversity and setbacks. Like, we connect negative feelings and negative emotions to setbacks, to failures. I try something, it doesn't work out, I feel bad. I apply for the job, I don't get the job, I feel bad. We all understand that, right? Okay, that's not healthy. If all you have connected to setbacks and adversity and failures, if all you have is negative emotions, what will happen is after a while, you'll stop trying. You'll stop reaching for big things. Like, why is this everybody here's goal this year not to say, we're going to be the #1 BOCES chapter county in the state of New York. We're going to do so good in this county, the state superintendent's going to come down because they think we're cheating on our scores. When they find out we're not cheating, they're going to pay a bunch of us extra money to go teach other BOCES chapters how to teach. Why is that not the goal? Because that's a high goal and it's not likely we're going to get it, right? So instead of having that as the goal, we say, let's go from 36% proficiency or 40% graduation to 41%. Right? We set a smaller goal because it's more likely we'll get it. But if we set a big goal and we don't get it, all we have is these negative emotions. Does that make y'all understand how that can undermine our ability to be great? So when we talk about resilience, we have to understand first that failing is not terrible. Adversity is actually helpful in our journey. Setbacks and challenges aren't meant to break you, they're meant to build you. Let me get some folks. I need some volunteers. I need 2 volunteers with real good energy. I need some people to help me out. You right there in the back, come on down. I need 1 more. Lady who just fixed her hair, come on down. Y'all give them a round of applause as they come up to the front. Woo! There we go. By all means, take your time. You know, we'll just messing with you. All right. So what's your name? Say again? Justina? Yeah. That's a pretty name. All right. So great grandmothers? That's a beautiful name. All right. So you kind of turn face forward just like that. Perfect. You come behind her. What's your name? Leandra. Okay. So in this example, well, first, give me a wave if you know how to ride a bike. Yeah, that's perfect. Just give me a wave if you know how to ride a bike. Lady back there with the glasses on. Do you know how to ride a bike? Because I didn't see the hand wave. Can you give me you know how to ride a bike? Everybody in that back corner, wave if you know how to ride a bike. There we go. All right. So this is day 1 of learning how to ride a bike. Justina, did I say that right? Justina is the toddler. Okay, she's 3 years old. And what's your name? Leandra. Leandra is the big sister. All right. Y'all done? Okay, got you. All right. So, big sister, put your hands on her shoulders. So, big sister holds the bike, you grab the handlebars. You start pedaling. Yep. And then for the first time of the day, Leandro, the big sister, let's go. What happens when she lets go? Say it louder.
You gotta really fall.
Hey, yeah. Wow. All right. Okay, reset. Okay. All right. So right now we're smiling, it's all funny, it's cute. But when you hit the pavement, ain't nothing funny. Nobody's laughing when they fall on the concrete. It actually caused you real pain. But we each got back up, got back on the bike. Big sister held the bike. We grabbed the handlebars again. We start pedaling. This time when they let go, you come a little farther. And then what happens? You fall again. Boom. Okay, kiddo, come on. You fall, you die. Jeez, okay, come on. All right, y'all go back to your seats. Y'all give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, listen up. Here's the lesson, y'all. Falling off the bike actually helped you get the balance. You fell the first time, you learned, don't lean too far to the left. So now you overcorrect and you lean to the right. You fall again. You learn, don't lean too far to the right. Now you got the balance, you cruising. But you got to stop. You hit the brakes. You flip over the handlebars. You learn, don't hit the brakes when you go at full speed. But the only way to learn those lessons is by falling off the bike. Did you understand what I'm trying to communicate here? That the falling is not embarrassing. You're not less than that you fell off the bike 12 times. Each fall helped you on your journey to get the balance. The same is true in your lives. When you have a setback, something happens with your child, something happens at work, you don't get the job, you deal with some stress, you did the pipe burst, whatever. When you deal with adversity, you get stronger. You get smarter. There are some things you only can learn through adversity. I'll tell you my personal story with adversity. I want you to know this is real. When I was in college, I figured out what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to be a politician, right? It was real clear. I was a student body president. I was going to run for office one day. So I spent the next 10 years preparing to run for office. I joined the Army because in my research, all the great politicians in history were either veterans or they were lawyers. And I was not going to law school, right? So I joined the Army. Then I worked for a city council member in Montgomery, Alabama, then a state organization, and I actually wrote a state law in Alabama, right? Then I worked for a national organization trying to fight for paid family and medical leave in Congress, well, with Congress. I wasn't in Congress, but advocating to Congress folks. So I did everything possible to prepare to run for office. Y'all see what I'm saying? Like, I'm set up for this. 2017 comes. A lady in my county named Betty Jean Grant gives up her seat in the county legislature in Erie County to run for mayor. And I said, this is my moment. Like, I've been preparing so long for this moment. So I launched my campaign. Now, this wasn't some like cute Facebook campaign. I'm talking about billboards, robocalls. We knocked on 3,000 doors. I turned my whole hood family into political activists, right? Like, I was all in for this election. And then I lost. And I was so angry and disappointed and sad. Has anybody in here ever given their all to something that didn't work out? Raise your hand. No, hold on. I didn't say you gave a lot of effort. I didn't say you gave a lot of effort. I said you gave your all. You gave it everything you had and it didn't work out. So y'all know what I'm talking about. So you understand, there's some anger that comes behind that, some bitterness. I felt cheated. You understand what I'm saying? And so thankfully it was only a 2-year term. So 2 years later, it's time for the rematch because that lady is sitting in my seat. This time I've got more money. I got more volunteers. I got the Buffalo newspaper to endorse me and say Duncan is the best candidate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all in. Matter of fact, I quit my job so I could campaign all day and all night. I'm all in. I know I'm gonna win this time. Wrong. I lose again. And I lose by a wider margin because it's hard to beat an incumbent, okay? So now my wife is looking at me like, so what we gonna do, right? Because I didn't have a backup plan. My plan was to win. So I took the next 6 months and I wrote this book on resilience. Then I got a bank to sponsor my book launch. It was gonna be April 12th, 2020. So needless to say, that didn't happen, right? The pandemic canceled that. But then after a couple of months of remote learning, schools start calling me. They say, Duncan, can you do virtual training? Our students are really struggling in remote learning. Then, a couple months after that, schools start calling and say, Duncan, our teachers are struggling with all of this remote learning. We're asking them to do 8 million things. They're getting burned out. So I started doing training for teachers. Then the world opens back up. Now I travel all over the world doing this. Do y'all see how me losing those elections led to me having a life that's 10, 20 times better? The freedom, the impact, the difference I'm making, the money, right? Everything is so much more than I could have imagined while I was in my car crying after I lost the election. Yeah, does that make sense to y'all? That when you go through adversity and setbacks, you don't have to feel bad about yourself or less than other people. You just have to keep going. You just have to learn from what you went through and build on it and move forward, because you don't know how your story is going to turn out. That's why you can't accept defeat. That's why you can't quit. Just nod your head if y'all still with me, if that makes sense, right? So now listen, y'all hear my story. I see the heads nodding. I see the smiles going, and that's all good. But my story can't change your relationship and the emotions you have around failure and adversity. I can't change that with my story. But I can change those feelings with your story, with your lived experiences. So I'm going to give you guys 90 seconds. And what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you got a notepad, write. If you got a phone, you can pull your phone out. I want you to identify 3 times in your life where you have had a setback or a failure or some sort of adversity. But hold on, here's the important part. For each thing, you're going to name one good thing that came from it, or one lesson you learned, one new thing that you valued. All right, so just so we're clear, 3 setbacks, 3 times you had adversity, 3 times it didn't work out, whatever, and one for each thing, at least one thing that benefited you, helped you grow, helped in your development, or taught you something. Now listen, I know a lot of y'all's first thought is, I broke up with this one crazy person, and then I ended up with the person of my dreams. Okay, I want you to use 3 different examples. Don't use that example. Okay, so we're gonna use 3 different examples besides the relationship one. All right, and so I'm gonna give you 90 seconds. Again, 3 setbacks and 1 good thing that came from each time. 3, 2, 1, go. Seconds. 5, 4. All right, we're back. First, thank you all for giving this activity a try. When you get more time, I would challenge you each to stretch that list from 3 to 10. Because here's what we want to happen. Here's why this is so important. The next time you have a setback, is this on? Did it die? Test. Okay. The next time you have a setback, the next time you have a challenge, instead of only having the negative emotions, you'll remember this list. That the last time you felt like this, something good came from it. The last time you went through something difficult, you learned something or grew in some way. And that will give you a little bit of hope. And oftentimes, that's all we really need to get through a tough situation. It's just a little bit of hope. That makes sense, y'all. Say, huh? All right. Here's a couple tips on dealing with adversity, dealing with setbacks. First is acceptance. You have to accept stuff is going to be hard. right? Like life is hard. You are going to have adversity. When you decide you want to do something great, you decide you're going to level up in life, instantly there's going to be resistance and you're going to have to overcome something, right? But accept it. Before you even get started, accept that you're going to deal with challenges. That's one of our problems. We get blindsided by adversity. Like we never thought this could have happened. We never could have seen some setback. Anybody ever made a vision board? Raise your hand if you ever made a vision board. Right here, Miss Lady, on your vision board, which part of the vision board did you put all the terrible failures you're going to have that year? No, you didn't have it on there? No? Anybody did New Year's resolutions? Right? Which one of your resolutions was in March the sump pump is going to go out? Right? We never factor in the adversity, so when it hits us, we are totally derailed. So just accept you're going to have setbacks and challenges. We talked about the journey, that failures and setbacks are part of the journey. Next is find the joy. When you're just chilling at home watching Netflix, there's no resistance. You only come across resistance when you decide to do something, accomplish something, set a goal. That means that the resistance you feel is an indicator you're moving towards something. So there should be joy in that, right? And then finally, know who you are. That who you are as a person, your value as a human is not connected to the results of things you try to do. It's not connected to your bank account. Who you are is so much more. And we'll get on that in just a minute. All right, now we're going to talk about presence. Presence is probably one of the most important skills to develop in education, because how we interact with children, how we interact with educators changes how they interact with the world, right? Being present is about bringing your best full self into a moment. Now that should be pretty easy because this current moment, this is the only moment that's real, right? The past no longer exists. But what we do is we get this imaginary backpack. We fill it full of pain, tragedy, regret, sadness. We strap it on and show up to work, say, I'm going to be great today, right? It's very challenging to do that while carrying all this baggage from the past, right? But then some of us are on the other side of that spectrum, and we feel like in the future, we will be happy. One day when I'll get joy. Once I get this, I'll have peace. But peace and joy can't live in the future. It can only live in the current moment. So being present is so important, and it should be the easiest thing because right where your feet are, that's the only moment that's real. So here, let me give you an example. Anybody been to the beach? Give me a wave if you ever been to the beach or a pool for those, everybody else? Okay, got it. So, you're at the beach. You're in the sand. Your toes are kind of warm on the sand. You know what I'm talking about, right? You get to that dark part of the sand where the water has been rushing on, and your toes sink down a little, and whoosh. For the first time of the day, the water rushes across your ankles. In that moment, you are totally present. You're gazing over the water. You see the sun beating down. It's just beautiful. I see that head nodding right there. Yeah. So you're feeling good. Now let's imagine while you're standing there, you are not thinking about your T-Mobile bill, right? You're not worried about that teacher evaluation or, how much is in your account. In that moment, you just are. So let's say a student walks up to you. Hey, Miss Jackson, can you tell me about the stars? You're going to have such a beautiful answer for that kid. You're going to say, oh, that sun right there, that's our star. And we're part of the Milky Way galaxy and all these constellations, blah, blah, blah. All right. The kid is going to walk away filled with joy. They're going to be Google searching and YouTube looking up constellations, searching Neil deGrasse Tyson and stuff, right? They're going to get to science class. They're going to start asking questions at school. Hey, how did you do this? How does this, right? That child is going to be excited to learn about this thing because you gave them that joy, okay? Now, let's imagine a normal day, all right? You wake up and your car is totally covered in a sheet of ice, all right? That happens here in this part of the state, right? Okay, because I'm from Buffalo, so all right. So you go chisel your car out of the ice, so now you're running late, okay? And because you're running late, the police in your county put out an APB for everybody to drive real slow in front of you. Okay, they do that, okay? So now you're running late, You're frustrated. What's this lady's name with the blessed shirt? What's your name? Lisa? Isa? Nisa? I'm sorry, it's an echo. Okay, so Nisa. Okay, so you see Nisa. You say, good morning, Nisa. She walks right by you. She doesn't say nothing. She's got her AirPods in. Her hair is down, so you can't see it. She never heard you. So you got to work late. You had to chisel your car out of ice. Nisa's acting funny, right? Your morning is going terrible. You get into your classroom, and a fight breaks out. Two students start fighting. You finally get through the lesson somehow, and you finally sit down. Whew! And a student walks up to you. And they say, Mrs. Jackson, can you tell me about the stars? The answer you give that kid ain't the same one you gave to the kid on the beach. All of a sudden, it's, what do you want to know? Just Google search. I'm not the science teacher. Like, yeah, can I have a minute? Well, that interaction with that kid means that that student doesn't walk away and start searching about constellations. They're not filled with joy and wonder. They don't go to science or their next class and start asking questions. They go to their next class and start throwing stuff. Do y'all see how we interact with a child can change how they interact with the world? But you, and I'm just pointing to you because you right here. Appreciate it. But you still have the capacity, even on a rough day, to give the beach answer to a student. You still have the same knowledge. You still have the same ability. You still have the same information. The only difference is, in one example, you're totally present. And in one, you're bringing the baggage from the morning into that moment. When I say first responder, I want you on a count of three, shout out what words jump into your mind when I say first responder. 1, 2, 3. Say it. Courage. Louder. Hero. I heard police over here. Who else you think of? Firefighter, ranger, paramedic. I heard something over here. Medical. Everybody always forgets educator. You are first responders. We don't have a first responder mindset in education, and that's the problem. It's a big problem. And you're like, wait, I'm a first responder? If somebody in your classroom needs CPR, who giving them CPR? You don't even got to know CPR. You still going to try, ain't you? If there's an active shooter in your location, who's going to take responsibility for the lives of all the children? Okay, you all are first responders. But in education, we don't have that first responder mindset. See, a first responder mindset is firefighter shows up, right? Your house is on fire, firefighter shows up. Do you care if that firefighter had an argument with their spouse yesterday? No. I thought you were a nice person. You look all nice. You don't care about their personal life? Not at all. Your kid just trouble at school for drugs? Not at all. Right? But guess what? Even though that firefighter got into an argument with their spouse, their kid's in trouble for drugs, when they show up to your house that's on fire, they are totally present and they're going to save you. That's a first responder mindset. And that's what we need to adopt in education. Let me get 2 volunteers. Help me out. I need 2 people with great energy. No, you've been doing good already. You've been helping me out. I'll get somebody else. Let me see. That lady right there with her arm across her shoulder. Yep, yes, you. Yep, come on down. That's one. And that lady right there is pointing at the. No, not the lady you pointing at. You. Yeah, in the black. Yeah, you. You tried to throw her under the bus, but it didn't work. All right, come on down. Y'all give them some love as they come on down. She was pointing like her. No, you. Come on up. All you know. Oh, okay. All right, so this is going to be fun. All right, so you're going to stand right here, ma'am, and you're going to stand right here, face her. No, you're not going to ride a motorcycle. All right, so what's your name, ma'am? Melody is my firefighter. All right? What's your name? Anna? Denna. It's very unique. Denna is on fire. She needs help. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to say go. You're going to pretend to open the door. She's going to say, help, I'm on fire. And you're going to go, psh, like you're putting the fire out. Okay, now listen, y'all, too. Earlier, I had 2 mics up here, and they were out of control. Okay? So let's just keep it real simple. Okay? You're just going to open the door. She's going to say, help, I'm on fire. And you're going to go, psh, easy breezy. All right, here we go. Ready, go. Opens the door. And scene. Y'all give them a big round of applause. No. Come back. Where you going? That's scene 1. We got 13 more to go. All right. She said, am I paying her? Okay. So check this out. We only got 2 more. All right. So scene number 1, firefighter shows up. Person says, I need your help. Firefighter saves their life. These are your students. These are the young people who know you can help them to have a better life. They're saying, I want you to help me be better. I need you to help me grow. You're going to change my life by me going through BOCES. We love those students, right? We can't wait to get to work with those students, okay? Scene number 2. Come up to the black line. This time, you're going to do the same thing. No change. That was perfect. But this time, once she opens the door, you're going to say, help, I'm on fire. But you're going to do it with a stank-ass, ungrateful teenager attitude. Okay? Entitled, rude, whatever works for you, Dana. Yes, 100%. All right, here we go. She opens the door. I'm on fire. Let's go. And scene. Perfect. Give her a big round of applause. Perfect. So, scene number 2. A firefighter shows up. Person is rude and ungrateful. Person is entitled and disrespectful. What does the firefighter do? They still save him. Does the firefighter take it personal that this person is rude? Do they wish it was the 80s where kids wasn't entitled no more? No, the firefighter saves their life. And not only does the firefighter save their life, they're totally unfazed by their attitude. They have, when that firefighter walks away, you know what they're going to think? I just saved their life. They're going to feel great. They're not even going to remember their bad attitude. These are your students that are rude, ungrateful, entitled, lazy, don't value the work that you're putting in to help them. But when you're a first responder, that doesn't faze you. You're just going to save their life the same as everybody else. You're going to work harder to make sure you can get them out of there. Okay? Last scene. Same thing for you. This time, once she opens the door, you're not going to say, help, I'm on fire, because you don't actually want to be saved. You're going to turn around and walk away. Even though you're on fire, everything's burning down around you, you're still don't want to be saved, and you're going to walk away, so you're still going to walk away. All right? You're going to do the same thing. Well, same thing you've been doing. All right, here we go. And you're going to say, you feel me. All right, and go. Opens the door, escapes, chases down. And scene. All right, y'all give them a huge round of applause. When we get done, come up here. I got something for y'all. Okay, when we get don't quit t-shirt. Go sit down. Go get away from me. When we get done, I got something for both of y'all. Okay, thank y'all so much. All right, listen up. Yes, another round of applause for them. They were amazing. All right, so listen to me. Scene number 1. Firefighter shows up. Person says, I want your help. I want to be better. I need you. Firefighter saves them. Scene number 2. Person is ungrateful, is rude, thankless. Firefighter still saves them. Scene number 3. Person does not want to be saved. Y'all got any students like that? Don't want to be. Matter of fact, they're causing the problems in their life. What does the firefighter do? He saves them anyway. She saves them anyway. And is unfazed by that person's attitude. Unfazed by this person. No, that firefighter shows up and they said, somebody getting saved. That's how we have to be in education. When we show up to work, we look at these kids, we look at these young people, we say, y'all gonna get saved. That's happening. Shoot, in the Coast Guard, they teach you in the Coast Guard, when they jump in the water, if somebody's flailing around too much, they teach you to knock them out and then save their life. All right, now I'm not telling y'all to knock the kids out, okay? But what I'm saying is, you gotta have the mindset that when you show up, Somebody is going to be saved. If that makes sense, y'all say, oh. All right, I'm going to jump. I got a couple tips on being present. First is give your attention to the task. So we have fooled ourselves into thinking we can multitask. Multitasking ain't even what y'all think it is. It doesn't even mean what you think it means. It was a word for computers switching back and forth between tasks, whatever. But when you think you're multitasking, what you're doing is several things poorly simultaneously, right? So give your attention to the task. Next, accept what is. How many times have we heard somebody say, well, back in my day, when I was walking 8 feet of snow, 7 miles up a hill, right? Like, accept this is the reality we live in. Or back before the pandemic, right? Or once we get this new person in, or what? No, this is the reality that we exist in. Now ask yourself the tough question. How can I be great in this moment? What can I do to better myself in this moment? And then you take that step. And then finally, treat each moment as a gift. If the pandemic didn't teach us nothing else, it's that every day is special. Every moment is a gift, and we need to treat it as such. All right, that makes sense. Say who? All right, let me do a time check. How are we doing? Where are we at on time? 15 minutes. Ooh, I gotta do better with my time, y'all. All right, so let's go quick. Now we're gonna talk about ego. Ego is something we don't talk about enough. Most of us probably hear ego. Shout out what you think when you hear ego on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Selfish. Louder. Arrogant. Prideful. Okay, so I thought all those things were associated with ego as well. Prideful, arrogant, cocky, conceited, narcissistic. None of those things are what ego means. Your ego is the part of you that tells you who you are. Now, that doesn't sound bad. The problem is it tells you who you are in comparison to other people and other things. That's why you always hear people identify who they are with a title, with a thing. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. I'm a teacher. I'm an artist. They want to connect who they are to a thing. You understand that? We've all heard people do that. We do it ourselves a lot of times, right? But who you are is more than an accumulation of titles. So if I said, let me get a volunteer real quick. Lady right there in the burgundy and black, stand up for me. All right. So if I asked you, who are you? You would say, I am, and just give me three things you would describe yourself. I am this, I am that, I am that. Give it to me. I'm a mom, a sister, and a friend. Y'all give her a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Hey, when we get done, I got something for you, okay? All right, so she's like, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, and a friend. Our problem is we think that those titles are who we are, but they're not. See, that is one of our biggest problems with ego. Because I gave the same answer. Like when I was asked this question, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm this, I'm an educator, all of that stuff, right? But none of those things is who she is. And I can prove it. Let's say, what's your name, miss? Caitlin? If I said, Caitlin, let's go camping. Caitlin's like, jackpot, Duncan, I love camping. So we go out to the woods, we get out there, and I say, Caitlin, surprise, we're going to be out here for the next 14 years. Caitlin is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, no, it's too late. We stuck. So now we're out there. It's year 8. Caitlin has not seen her children in 8 years. Does Caitlin still exist? Yes, she's still there. She still exists, right? Caitlin said, mother, sister, ain't seen her sister or brother or sibling in 8 years. Does she still exist? And a friend, ain't no friends in the woods except the squirrels. Does she still exist? So if she can exist separate from all these titles, that means those things by definition cannot define who she is. Because if they did, she couldn't exist without them. Does that make sense? Now I want to be clear, I'm not diminishing those roles. Mother, sister, friend are super important. So I'm not downplaying her roles and titles. I'm uplifting her to the highest possible level. That she's more than those titles, more than those roles. Does that make sense, y'all? So like, okay, let's imagine we're in the woods. Put your hand on a chair like we in the forest. Just everybody grab a chair or something, and you got your hand on this tree. So we're going to pretend that we got a hand on this tree, all right? You know that this tree is a living thing. Everybody understands the tree is a living thing, right? Lil Wayne shows up, all right? He's a rapper, all right? What changed about the tree when Lil Wayne showed up? She said the vibe. What changed about Lil Weezy what changed about the tree when Lil Weezy showed up? Nothing. Oprah shows up. What changed about the tree? Steve Carell shows up. He brings his Lamborghini. What changed about the tree? Nothing. Okay, y'all can relax. I'm trying to get you to see external things don't change the internal aliveness of the tree. It doesn't change anything about that tree. Just like your roles, titles, jobs, things you acquired have nothing to do with who you are, with your value as a human. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not knocking getting a bunch of degrees or getting nice stuff. I got a bougie wife. She loves the hair, the nails, the whole shebang, all right? So I'm not saying don't get nice stuff. I'm saying don't connect who you are to stuff or to titles. It's like you ever met somebody, ma'am, and you say, hey, how you doing? I'm Janet. He says, I'm Dr. Johnson. And you're like, relax, Derek. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that deep, right? But a lot of people like to connect who they are to a title. I'm not saying don't get your second PhD. I'm saying don't tie your value as a human to it. Because what happens if you lose your job? Right? What happens if you lose the car? What will happen is you will actually go through the stages of grief if you lose a thing that you have identified with, that you have connected with as part of who you are. But because you lost the job, did anything actually change about you? He said, yeah, you ain't working. No, nothing actually changed about you. When your car was in the accident, right? Somebody hit your car while it was parked. Did anything change about you? Are you less than now? No, nothing has changed. So it's not healthy to identify who you are with stuff or with titles and roles. Now, listen, upward mobility, nice house, go for it. But just know you're more than that. If that makes sense, say, oh. All right. So I'm going to do a quick, last thing we'll talk about is self-care. We'll do a recap, and then I'm done. All right. So when we talk about self-care, this is so important because Gallup did a poll, and they found almost half of people who work in education have experienced feelings of burnout. Anybody here experienced feelings of burnout in the last couple years? Right. So self-care isn't the magic answer to solve burnout, but it helps dramatically. Taking care of yourself is important. So what I want to do is jump through a couple of these different ways to take care of yourself, because I want you to know self-care is more than Zumba class. It's more than doing mindfulness at the park, okay? Now, I'm not knocking it. If you do mindfulness stuff or you do Zumba, that's awesome. But there's a bunch of ways to take care of yourself. I'm going to jump through a few, then I'm done. Cool? Give me some head nods. Awesome. All right. First, we're going to talk about is physical condition. This is you're going for a run, you're weightlifting, going for a walk, your pole dancing class, right? This is moving so you use your body, right, to create good energy. Next, we're going to jump over to kindness. Listen, kindness is the easiest way to take care of yourself. When you're kind to people, people are kind to you, and it will make you feel good. You ever had a stranger hold the door for you for no reason? Like you just walked up to it, raise your hand. If you walked up to a door, a stranger held the door. But it was two doors. It was a double door. So what did you do when you got to the second door? You hold the door for them, but you don't just do it. You get excited. You're like, hey, I got you. Have a good day, right? You're like extra excited to be kind to somebody who was kind to you. I want to go back to slow down. I know that somewhere in your professional career, somebody told y'all that if you don't respond to every single email before you go to sleep, the sun won't come up in the morning. All right, it's okay. Slow down. It's 2 a.m. Close the laptop. All right, the sun will come up because even if you respond to all 30 emails, what's going to be waiting for you in the morning? 30 more, ready to roll, okay? Slow down. If you need 5 minutes, say, hey, sir, I need 5 minutes. You need a nap? Take a nap. Like, slow down. The world will keep spinning. Next, I want to jump over to community service. When you serve other people, you actually feel better. Next is support. If you want a big shot of positive energy, go support a friend or a colleague or a student. They say, hey, I've got a baseball game next Thursday. You say, what time? 5:30? You show up with 3 Gatorades. You'll never have a discipline problem from that student again. When you support someone, you're going to build a big, strong connection with them. And then you get to mirror that good energy from them. And then next is curiosity and exploration. That's just trying something new. And nowadays with YouTube, you don't even got to go nowhere to learn something new. You can just get on YouTube, search anything you're interested in. Cooking your favorite meal, massage therapy, anything you want. Right now, I'm learning American Sign Language. So I get this whole talk in sign language to schools of the deaf. Now, it's outrageously difficult, and I'm only at the toddler level. But every day that I do my 20-minute lesson, I feel incredible, right? So you can just find things you're interested in and just learn new stuff. And then the last and most important thing is priorities. You have to prioritize your joy because you deserve joy. You deserve fun. And see, people think that self-care and having fun and joy, they think that that's like a bonus in life, right? Like I got to do all this stuff, then eventually do something for myself. No, you're looking at it wrong. You're not as good of a parent as you could be if you don't have joy. You're not as good as an educator as you could be if you don't have joy. So you're actually better at life when you do things that bring you joy. See, what we do is we deprioritize our own joy. We put it at the bottom of the to-do list, right? So we'll say, you got kids? You got one kid. All right. So let's say your boss says, hey, I need to meet with you Thursday at 3:30. You say, no problem. Put it on your calendar, Thursday at 3:30. Got it, right? Your kid comes to you, Mom, I need your help with my homework. Thursday, 3:30. You look at your calendar, it says, meeting with the boss. You're going to tell your kid, I can't help you at 3:30, but I can help you at 4:30. All right? Kid's like, okay, no problem. Life goes on. Different scenario. Your best friend says, I just got this huge promotion. We're going out for drinks Thursday at 3:30. You say, I'm there. Happy hour. Right on your calendar, Thursday at 3:30. Your kid comes to you. Mom, I need help with my homework Thursday at 3:30. You're going to look at your calendar, drinks with the besties. You're going to call your friends and say, I can't make it. I have to help my child with their homework. Everybody get that? So you see how we just deprioritized our joy when it was work, but then when we had joy on the calendar, responsibilities kicked it right off. Just like your child can wait till 4:30 to get help with the homework when you got a meeting, they can wait till 4:30 or 5 when you're going to have drinks with the friends. But you got to prioritize your joy. Nobody else is going to do it. On my calendar, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Saturday morning, it says PlayStation 5 because I'm a gamer. So if my wife wants to do brunch, we got to go at 11:30 because from 9 to 11, I'm busy. And now people say, they judge me. They're like, Duncan, you're a grown man and you play video games and you're going to make your wife wait? Yes. Yes, I am. Because I deserve to have joy. I deserve to have fun. Because just think about it. If I canceled my fun to go to brunch, me and my wife have a good time. Good food, nice laughs, good conversation. But if I get to spend 2 hours destroying teenagers in Mortal Kombat and trash talking them, screaming at full volume in the headset, and then we go to brunch, bring on the mimosas. Like, I'm ready to roll. Like, we're going to have a good old time, right? So it's like, I deserve joy. So you have to prioritize your joy. My challenge would be when you get time, put something on your calendar for this week that's just for you. Read a book, take a nap, take a walk, whatever it is, and treat it like a meeting with your boss. So when something comes up, I'm busy during that time because you deserve joy. You deserve happiness, y'all. All right, let me do a recap and get y'all out of here. We talked about gratitude. We learned to exercise good stuff. Name 3 good things that have happened in the last 24 hours. We talked about presence, bringing our full self into a moment like a first responder, having that first responder mindset. We talked about self-care, the importance of doing things that bring us joy, overcoming our ego, which is us understanding that who we are is not connected to our life situation, that our value isn't tied to stuff and titles. And then finally, resilience, that failures, that setbacks and challenges are actually a part of our journey. All right, and then we took our resilience pledge. I will always place my mission first. I'll never accept defeat. I'll never quit. Now, do I have time check? I got less than a minute. Real quick. Do I have 2 people who want to share something that was helpful in this talk? Raise your hand. Right here. Yes, ma'am. Educators need to have a first responder mindset. That's huge. Y'all give her a big round of applause. I got a copy of my book for you. I got a copy of my book for you, ma'am. I'm going to toss it, okay? Good luck. All right. One more person. Who we got? Going once. All the way in the back. Yes. Louder. Louder. I deserve joy. Y'all give her a big round of applause. When we get done, I got a journal for you, okay? All right. So now we are done, and we're going to do our resilience pledge one more time. But first, can we give a round of applause to your leadership here at BOCES for putting this on today? All right, now we're going to do our resilience pledge. So everybody take a deep breath. Repeat after me. I will always place my mission first. Okay, so when I said everybody, what I meant was everybody, right? So like there's a nice gentleman right there with the nice collared shirt. I see you. He didn't say nothing. So we're going to try it again. And I need everybody. Come on, I can see it. My vision is uncanny. So everybody take a big deep breath. Repeat after me. I will always place my mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. Okay, there's a lady right there on the edge who just looked up, and I didn't hear her say the last one. She was looking down at something. So we're going to try it again. Big 10 energy, y'all. Come on, here we go. Big deep breath. I will always place my mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. Y'all give yourselves a round of applause. Thank y'all so much.
Way to go, Duncan. A lot of energy, a lot of fun there. Nice round of applause for Duncan, please. So we will get the opportunity to hear from Duncan again in a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask Rebecca to come on up. And we've been doing a lot of work on belonging this past year and in previous years. So she's just going to kind of give a little summary of some of the stuff we've been working on.
So before we continue, I wanted to talk just a little bit about our diversity, equity, and inclusion updates. We have a committee that started in 2020, 2021. And that is when the journey for BOCES began. And then how it continues is in 21, 22, 22, 23, I don't know, somewhere in there. 22, 23, yeah, that was the first year that I was here. We talked about making sure that the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee involved someone from every department, just to make sure that we were hearing voices across our organization. In that year, we also looked at priorities that we had, we looked at policies that we had, and we looked at our training. So we had a GCN training on diversity. The committee determined that it was not right for us. In other words, it was really stinky. So we wanted to make sure that we had something else that represented BOCES. So in 23, 24, a couple of different things happened. We started looking at different trainings to see what the needs for us. We started looking at affinity groups. An affinity group is a group of people that have a similar mindset or similar values or opportunities ahead of them. For example, we talked a little bit about having an affinity group for single moms. It's a group of people who have a very unique viewpoint on things in life. And one of the affinity groups that rose to the top because we had a couple of people who were very interested in leading that was the LGBTQ committee. And so we have an affinity group last year that started with that. The leadership is interested in helping any other groups that are interested in being an affinity group. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can talk with Carrie Bullock, you can talk with Tom McNair or anyone on our diversity committee. And then the third thing that we were charged with is creating the diversity, equity, inclusion video, because we found that none of them met the needs of our people and our staff. So that's what we're going to do next. That is going to be our training, that it's a mandatory training. It's going to be part of the academy. Anyone who is listening to it today, who signed in, we're going to check you off. You are not going to have to redo the training. But anyone who's new to the organization is going to hear the same thing. So we start to get consistent messaging That's another piece is our onboarding and making sure that when people come to our organization, they know what our mindset is when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and watch that, and we'll turn it over to Carrie. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but when you're flipping between PC and Mac, it's not easy. At Broome-Tioga BOCES, we're working to improve the employee experience. Employees will feel valued and supported, feel a sense of belonging, which leads to higher job satisfaction and a more positive work environment. Over the past few years, we've had a committee of staff members from each sector of our workforce focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The committee has looked at how to hire individuals and how they can be supported throughout their career. This group reviewed BOCES trainings and sought to implement a diversity, equity, and inclusion experience that meets the needs of our organization. Through open and honest conversations, we're working to create a more supportive, innovative, and effective workplace at Broome-Tioga BOCES.
The goals of the DEI committee are goals that are important to me and goals that are important to the organization. The thing that impresses me about BOCES DEI committee is that our leaders are a part of the conversation, and it's one thing to say that you value an effort, that you value DEI, but when your words align with your actions, it's demonstrated in how you spend your time.
A team that feels a strong sense of belonging works better together. When we embrace diverse perspectives and experiences, we can find forward-thinking solutions that will improve our operations and better support our students.
Diversity means accepting everyone and anyone regardless of race, color, ethnicity, sexual preference.
It is a diverse place. I mean, that is what BOCES is all about. We need diversity when it comes to places like this, because not just any specific person that comes here.
I believe you can always learn something from someone. And so when a workplace is diverse, there's lots of people that you can learn from and interact with and really expand your horizons that you might not get in your own environment.
We know that when we have diverse perspectives and new opinions and different ways of thinking, that makes us better. It makes us stronger as an organization.
At BOCES, equity begins with reviewing our practices across the organization to ensure consistency and fairness while respecting the unique strengths of each department. Equity brings equal treatment, access, and opportunity for all staff, no matter their background, identity, or circumstances.
I think having a solid onboarding process for employees that will be equitable and inclusive across the board is really important, because each employee, regardless of where they're going to work in BOCES, they have the same experience. It's more of a focus. This is what we need to do to help you be successful in your role at BOCES, and really have a support system and structure there to help the employees grow and improve.
Inclusion is all about creating a culture where everyone feels valued, respected, and supported for being who they are.
It's so important for all of us to be able to set a tone of everyone belongs. Everybody here is meant to be supported with whoever they are and how they choose to express themselves. And eventually that feeds into an environment where we're bouncing skills off of each other and new ideas, and it just amps up our innovation and our ability to care as a community.
Belonging is a basic human need. It's about feeling appreciated, validated, accepted, and treated fairly within an environment.
When I first came here, I didn't really think that I fit in necessarily. I came from a middle-income family, and I didn't really believe that I would fit in with this group of people. And you know what? You fit in more than you really think when you first walk in the door.
To be in an environment that I feel welcome, affirmed, And that how I see the world, my experiences, the thoughts that I have, the perspective that I have is like valued. I want everyone to have that.
A very exciting part of this initiative is allyship. This happens when someone with more advantages partners with a group that faces challenges, working together to change systems so that everyone has equal access and opportunities to succeed.
To have different cultures, different people, personalities, it's always good to have those places.
Making sure that the DEI committee changes that we made benefited all employees and made it easier for employees that maybe don't see themselves as necessarily directly benefiting from DEI are able to experience an organization that is more responsive to them and allows them to feel that sense of belonging that we want for everyone.
When we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, what we're really talking about is making sure each person here at BOCES feels welcome and valued. That every employee feels like they belong and are an integral part of our organization. Belonging begins here at Broome-Tioga BOCES.
All right, let's give it up to all those who shared some of their thinking in that video. Can you hear me okay in the back? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, thank you. All right. And so thank you to members of our DE&I committee. That video, as Rebecca shared, was really created from conversations in the committee saying, we want more. We want more for our organization. We want more for all of our staff. And as we're focusing on our employee experience, really trying to think about that sense of belonging for all at BOCES. And so I want to come back to that definition of belonging that was shared and just let you think about this for a moment. So belonging is about feeling appreciated, about feeling validated, accepted, and treated fairly within an environment. So I'm encouraging you all to think for a moment about a time where you felt you belonged. It might be here, it might be somewhere else, but you had that feeling of appreciation, of validation, of acceptance. And I want you to think, what is it about that made you feel that sense of belonging? Or if you didn't, what might have? Okay, and in a moment, we're going to ask you just to share a little bit about that feeling with some of those who are sitting around with you. So in a small group with about 4 or 5 other people in just a moment, I'd like you to share what made you feel like you belong or what would make you feel like you belong. Thinking specifically about that experience you were thinking about or thinking about what we can do here at BOCES. All right, we're going to give you about 7 minutes to do that. That should give you enough time to share within your group and then go ahead and take a quick break before we come back for part 2 with Duncan. We're going to start part 2 at 1:45. All right, so we're going to put that timer on for 7 minutes. I'm going to ask you to find just 4 or 5 other people you can circle up with, share, and then go ahead and take a break. We'll be back at 1:45.
be like, okay, there's only a minute left, you know, and that way she can actually say more things and like where it's in the
She
spirit
probably
of the show. Yeah, but she's also just talking.
Test, test, test. Ooh, that's really quiet. Test, test.
To take about 10 minutes. We're going to start back up at 1:45. If you need to go use the restrooms or just take a stretch break.
it's like very low.
Yeah,
But it's for him.
right.
We're going to give you about 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes and we're going to pull back together. So I'm giving you the 3-minute warning. I just need this QR code. Yep.
Sorry for the minor delay, but I'm gonna now swear. Here we got 3 stories.
That's awesome. All right, welcome back. We are excited to bring Duncan back for part 2 in just a moment. But before we do so, I'm going to ask if you could take out your phones and scan this QR code. The DE&I committee wants to hear from all of you. So as we focus on Belonging Begins here this year, the question that we are asking today is, what do you want the DE&I committee to consider in fostering belonging here at BT BOCES? This QR code is going to take you to a very brief survey with one question, just that, to give us your thoughts. We're hoping to gather your thoughts, your feedback, information from you all to help guide our efforts moving forward. The DE&I committee is really focused on fostering the sense of belonging and wants to be thinking about things that we can do collectively to help foster that moving forward. So hopefully you were able to capture that now. Please continue to add your thoughts. If you weren't able to capture that now, we are going to follow up with sending out the link to that survey to gather additional information. We are also going to send out information about how to get books and t-shirts, because many of you have been asking about that. So we will be sure to follow up with that information as well. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to Duncan for part 2.
Thank you, ma'am. I found it. All right. Woo! Ready for part 2? Okay, I like it. All right, so next we're going to talk about allyship. But I just want y'all to know, listen, this is going to be a different type of DEI talk. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a different speaker, as you've seen. I'm a little unorthodox, so this talk will not be your normal DE&I type of talk. But y'all are okay with that, right? I already got paid anyway, so I'm here. So, all right. So as we get ready to get started, y'all know I love icebreakers, okay? So we're going to do another one just because I like doing them, all right? Now, this one is a reading icebreaker. Can everybody in here read? Can you raise your hand if you know how to read? Okay. Now, everybody's smiling, but when we worked with the earlier group, they also said they knew how to read. Actually, they didn't, okay? And they failed miserably. I'm talking about 95% of the people in the room got it wrong. So we're going to see if y'all can do better. I'm going to change the slide. There will be 3 triangles on the slide. We're going to read all 3 triangles out loud together. Easy breezy. Make sense? All right, here we go. Paris. Yeah, once. Bird. All right, stop. Silence. Raise your hand if in the first triangle you read Paris in the spring. Raise your hand. Raise it high. All right, second triangle. Raise your hand if you read Once in a Lifetime. Raise it high. Like high. Like high means like up. Okay, there we go. Number 3, raise your hand if in the third triangle you read Bird in the Hand. Raise your hand. Raise them high. All right, well, guess what, y'all? None of those triangles said that. So apparently, y'all too are struggling in reading. Relax. It's just a funny, fun activity, but I'm serious. None of those triangles said that. So we're going to try it again. This time, I would like for you to read the triangles and actually read the triangle. Okay? We ready? Round 2, second chance. And go. Paris. Once. Bird. There we go. You see that? Paris in the spring. Once in a lifetime. Bird in the hand. So it's just a fun activity. Again, it's showing us we often miss things. Our brain sees a little bit of information and we just fill in the rest. Well, when you're working with young people, that can be pretty dangerous and damaging to hear a little bit of information and just fill in the rest and not really pay attention. That makes sense, y'all? All right, I got one more just because I like doing it. So now I'm going to see, can you all count? So we tried to see if y'all can listen. Fail. We tried to see if y'all can read. Fail. Now we're going to see if you can count. Come on. I got high hopes for y'all. Come on, BT BOCES. Come on. All right. I'm going to change the slide. This one, there is no tricks. I promise you, no tricks, no sneaky stuff. This is super straightforward, okay? I'm serious. All you have to do is count how many letter F's are in the sentence. You know, like A, B, C, D, E, F? You're going to count how many F's you see in the sentence. Then we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Here we go. And go. Silently. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. All right. Raise your hand if you read that sentence and the number of F's that you found was 2 F's total. Raise your hand. All right, couple people. Thank you very much. Raise your hand if you read that sentence and the total number of F's that you found was 3. Raise your hand. Look around. All right, all right, all right. Like it. Raise your hand if the total number of F's that you found was 4. Raise your hand. Raise it high. Raise it high. Okay. Raise your hand if the total number of F's you found was 5. Raise your hand. All right. Raise your hand if the total number of F's you found was 6. Raise your hand. Okay. Raise your hand if the total number of F's you found was 7. Raise your hand. Nobody? All right, 6 is correct. Woo! All right, so here's what happened. Shh. Everybody who was 3, raise your hand. 3 or 4 people, raise your hand. Here's what happened. You read the sentence. Do you understand that? People who got 5 or 6 F's, they counted the letter F's. But if you read this sentence, you likely got it wrong because of does not sound like scientific. It doesn't make the F sound. So if you read it, the ofs didn't jump out at you. Look at, she's checking my work right here with the blue. She is like, wait a minute, Duncan. She is counting them. You still only see 5. Finished, files, scientific, of. There you go. All right, so listen, y'all, that's just a fun activity. Y'all know I like icebreakers. All right, here we go. Shh. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about our connection to our opinions. We're going to talk about what is an ally, a bystander versus an upstander, and we're going to talk about next steps. All right, so remember earlier we talked about ego? The reason I spend so much time talking about ego is because when we get ready to talk about DE and I, a lot of people get connected to their opinions. And our opinions in this subject, sometimes they're a little in opposition, which can make this a very tense kind of situation. Does that make sense, y'all? So first, before we get into that talk, I need to disconnect you from your opinions because you have opinions. You are not your opinions. Do you understand the difference? You got opinions about everything, but who you are is not what your opinion is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to change it. All right, so let's go through this. I got you. So this is what I want to do. We're going to do a fun exercise. I'm going to ask you to stand up if you agree or with certain stuff, if it's a yes or no, right? So here we go. Just indulge me for a moment. If you believe that there is life on other planets, somewhere, somehow, stand up. All right, sit down, sit down, sit down. If you believe that it is possible that the earth is actually flat, stand up. Don't be shamed. All right, oh, look at y'all. The last group had a couple of flat earthers happening. All right, so If you believe that any type of drug, not every drug, but you believe there is some drug somewhere, and you believe that it should be legal, like you believe that there are some drugs that should be legal, stand up. All right, look around real quick. Boom, boom, boom. All right, sit back down. If you believe that there are some situations where torture could be justified, stand up. All right, look around. All right, differences of opinion. Sit down. If you believe Cinnamon Toast Crunch is better than Fruit Loops, stand up. I see y'all in the back. I see you. Oh, yeah. All right, sit down. All right. I can't believe everybody wasn't standing on that last question because Cinnamon Toast Crunch, that's the big leagues. All right, listen up. Shh. So look, y'all, we just went through 5 different questions where you all had different opinions. Does that make sense? Now, do you look at each other different? Is anybody in here angry or triggered because somebody loves Fruit Loops in here? Okay, you have an opinion. Somebody else has a different opinion, and it's all good. There's no stress and conflict, okay? Now, look at this set of questions. Now we're going to go through this again. Look at everyone's like, whoa. All right, relax. I'm not going to ask you to stand up. I'm not going to turn this room into a fight zone, okay? So, but here's what I want you to understand. Shh. Just like this set of questions, you have opinions on them and different people have different opinions. On this set of questions, you have opinions and people have different set of opinions. None of those opinions on either page changes who you are, changes who another person is. You should not look at someone different because one of their opinions on this page is different than yours. Because on this page, you ain't have no problem with somebody having a difference of opinion. They're just opinions. Do y'all get that? Is that understandable? All right, let me get somebody with some good vibes. I need a volunteer. No, you're just, I love your energy, but I need to get other people involved. You can't hog the good vibe. You just give it, I appreciate you though. No, I appreciate, but I'm a speaker. I got to get other people involved. You're with me though. All right. Can I get, no, she already was up here. Let me see. Why are you keep pointing at her? She is trying to throw you under the bus so badly. Let's go with this gentleman right here in the blue. Yes, you right there. Yep, scratch the ear. Y'all come, give him some love as he comes on up. This is easy breezy. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. What's your name, sir? Ryan. Thank you for coming up, sir. All right, so Ryan, I'm gonna ask you a couple of these questions. Now, here's the catch. You are gonna I'm gonna ask you like 3 or 4 questions, right? Only one of them, you're gonna tell how you actually feel. And in the other 2, you're gonna lie. Kind of like the game, True Truth and a Lie. But we're not gonna know which is which, so you don't gotta worry. You're just my prop. Nobody's gonna know how you truly feel, okay? So nobody's gonna know how you truly feel about none of this, all right? I just needed a person right now. All right. So who knows him? Raise your hand if you know this guy. All right. So, guy in a gray hoodie, can you just stand up right where you are? Just, what do you think about him? Just tell me what you think about him. Hold up, shh. All right, come on, real quick. Just give me a cut. What do you think about him? You think he's a good guy? Give me one more thing. Think he's honest. I love it. Give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. Who else knows him? I need one more person who knows this guy. He's all about his students. I love it. Big round of applause right here. Thank you very much. All right, so here we go. Do you think illegal immigration is a threat to the United States? Now, before you answer, remember, y'all, I'm gonna ask him 3 questions. We don't know which one is the truth and which one is not, so it doesn't really matter. Does that make sense? Okay, so just give me a yes or no. What do you think? Yes or no? He says yes. Now, let's say you have a difference of opinion. That guy in the back just said he's a good guy and he's honest, okay? Did him giving that answer, if you have a different thought, change him being a good guy? No. Does it change him being all about his students? Y'all see what I'm saying here? All right, hold on. Give me one more. Let's say, do you think this younger generation is entitled? Yes or no? He says yes. Does him saying that, and you have a difference of opinion, does that make him less good with his students? No. Does that make him less of a good guy? No. So do y'all understand how we can have opinions, but it doesn't change who we are? It doesn't mean we need to be combative or tear each other down. Just give me a head nod if y'all with me. All right, cool. You can go to your seat. Thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate you, sir. All right. So now let's jump forward to diversity. When you hear diversity, I need somebody to raise their hand and tell me just, what do you think when you hear diversity? I just need one person to raise their hand and tell me what they think. Don't you got a diversity task force or something? Right here, sir. What do you think? When you hear diversity, what jumps out at you? Different people, different perspectives. I'll give them a big round of applause. Come on. That's why you on the committee. Because see, here's the thing, y'all. Most people, when they hear diversity, what they hear is either race or gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic class. But what he said was difference of perspective. That is the big one that we miss all the time. All of these things, yes, these all are diversity. These are all these things. I got it all listed for you. But that's the big one that we always forget. Us thinking different is diversity. Us having a different perspective is diversity as well. And I want to make sure we include that as we're having this conversation around belonging. So I'll tell you an example of that. I am from Buffalo, New York, east side of Buffalo. It's like the hood in Buffalo, right? And I went to a historically black college in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, let me tell y'all something. It's one thing to be in an all-black space. It's another thing to be at a black college in Montgomery, Alabama, okay? That's like a different level of black. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think, Martin Luther King's church is one block up the street. Rosa Parks bus stop is another block the other. You see what I'm saying? It's the cradle of the Confederacy and the birthplace of the Civil Rights Movement, okay? So when I get there, I'm thinking, oh, man, it's going to be all these black people just like me, right? And I get there and I learned black people ain't all the same. Like black people from Detroit, I mean, that is a different type of person, okay? Black people from California, from SoCal, they call it, are so different than Florida black people. Nigerian people don't even identify as black. They identify as African. So I'm learning all this at my college that guess what? Even though we're all dark-skinned, melanated people, we are still diverse. Y'all see what I'm saying? So it's all types of diversity that we can love and celebrate and grow from and learn from. Y'all with me? All right, cool. So let's talk about allyship. So here's a couple things about allyship. But when you think about an ally, what comes to mind? Somebody just raise their hand so I can hear what you guys say about allyship. Yes, ma'am. A friend. I love it. What is that? What's your name? D? Denna, yup. A friend. What else we got? Support. I love it. Give me one more. Oh, who said that? What you teach? So yeah, okay. I knew something was up. She said accountability. I was like, so what's going on here? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. All right, good job. So all those things feed into being an ally. So here is what ally means. I want to give you a second to read this definition, and I want you to try to think of what is the one word in here that I think is the most powerful. So I'm gonna give you a second, and then once you got an idea, just raise your hand. You don't got to stand up or nothing. I'm gonna just have you shout it out. All right, what you got, ma'am? She said helper. That is incredibly important if you're gonna be an ally, but that's not my word. Good try. Yes, ma'am. She said support. That is incredibly powerful. You lifting people up, supporting them, but that's not my word. Right there in the glasses. Say louder. Struggle. That's a good one. Not mine. All right, who we got back here, ma'am? Oh, say it louder. Ongoing. Ongoing. That's my word. Give her a big round of applause. She got it. Hey, when we get done, I got something for you up here too. All right. Everybody who I said I got something for you, you got to remember because I've already forgot who you are. Okay. So you got to remember. All right. Ongoing, because if you're going to be an ally, you can't be my ally on Monday. And then on Thursday, when it's going down, I look around and you ain't nowhere to be found. Okay. That's not how allyship works. It's got to be ongoing support. All right. That's really important. All right. So I have a whole talk I do on allyship because I explain to people that allyship is a battle term. You say ally, that's a war term. Anybody here serve in the military or got family in the military? Okay, when somebody says ally, they ready to go to war with you. That's not no, hey, we just friends or I just like you, Carrie. No. If I say I'm your ally, when it all goes down, when there's a problem, I'm counting on you to be there. You are ready to get into the fight with me. So if you're going to say you're an ally, you can't say you're an ally, but you're not ready to stand up when it's tough. You can't say you're an ally, but when a boss disrespects somebody, you don't say nothing. That's not an ally. All right, so if you're going to be an ally, you got to be ready to stand strong with somebody. I'm going to show you guys a scientific video to break down what an ally looks like. So this is like a research-based, vetted kind of algorithmic video on how you identify an ally. Before I show the video, most people think that the ally is the person who has the sign in this video. There's a sign that says rock bottom. And most people think that that sign is the person who's an ally in the video, but they're not. That person is a supporter. They're standing there saying, I support you. That's like the people who make their profile picture the women's rights logo or the Black Lives Matter Facebook banner. That's cool, right? You saying, I support you, but that doesn't make you an ally, all right? So if you look in the background, there's a guy with an orange sign that says rock bottom. That person is saying, Rocky, we support you. We are with you, Rocky, but that's not the ally. You will know when the ally enters this video. All right, so that's an ally. I'm not telling y'all to start swinging chairs at your locations and sites. What I'm saying is, if you're going to call yourself an ally, you have to get involved. You are inserting yourself into a situation where someone is being wronged. Does that make sense, y'all? So that's an ally. Now, just so we're clear, the person with the rock bottom sign, they're a supporter, and we appreciate support. But if you're going to say, I'm an ally, you got to get involved. All right. So I like to use this acronym when we're thinking about allyship. A is for always center the impacted. L is for listen and learn. The other L is for leverage your privilege. And then Y is yield the floor. So when we say always center the impacted, what I mean is when something's going on, a lot of times what we do is we make it about us when we want to help somebody, right? Duncan is having a bad day. People are being mean to Duncan. You want to come over and help Duncan, but you don't help Duncan and then Duncan is in the forefront. You help Duncan and you put your chest out like, I am the hero of this story, right? But that's not what an ally, you just took over, and I appreciate it. But if you're an ally, you want Duncan to be the center of the story. You're just supporting, you're helping, you're arm in arm, but it's about him, and it's not about you. Does that make sense, y'all? We have a habit of doing, anybody here a parent? Anybody ever had to go to their kid's school? When you get to that school, it ain't about the kid no more, right? If you got to show up, if you got to leave work to go to that school, now it's about you. It's a whole, come on now, can we be honest in here? All right, so anyway, number 2 is listen and learn. Most people are terrible listeners. Okay, that's just real. But there are levels to listening that I want to go through quickly so you can understand, because if you're going to be an ally, you need to be a better listener. And I'll show you what that sounds and looks like. So here's my listening staircase. At the bottom, you have ignoring. That's being in the same room with somebody, but they're totally ignoring you. This is what your teenagers do to you, right? You're in the room, but they hear nothing you're saying. That's terrible. Number 2, pretend listening. This is when people are listening to you, but they're really just pretending to listen, so they're waiting for their turn to speak. Anybody been in that situation before? How does that feel when you can tell people are just waiting for their turn to speak? How does that feel? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Feels bad, right? Next is selective listening. This is pretty much every debate you've ever had, where people are listening only to find something that they can disagree with. Any argument and people do that? You're like, well, you said on 5 minutes ago or 12 minutes, you said this, and now, haha, you contradict. They're just listening just to find something to disagree with. That's selective listening. So all 3 of those are bad. When people say, I'm a good listener, what they really usually mean is that they're an attentive listener. This is good. So if somebody's an attentive listener, that is a good thing. An attentive listener is going to come to you and you say, hey, I got this thing going on. You're telling them about what's going on. They're listening. They're asking you questions. Well, how did that happen? Who is Sarah? Why did you do that? Oh, man, what you going to do? Right? They're asking you questions from their point of view because they want to know what's going on. They want to help and support you, right? So you can see that's a good thing, okay? But there's a level higher. It's called empathetic listening. This is like the big leagues of listening, all right? Because when you're an empathetic listener, you're not listening from your point of view. You're listening from their point of view. You're not listening for you to get information. You're listening for them to let themselves hear their own voice and work through their own challenges. Right? So if you're telling me a story and I say I'm going to be an empathetic listener, I don't need to know who Sarah is in your story, do I? Because you already know. Me asking who is Sarah is for me. That's not for you. What time was it? It don't matter what time it was to me. You already know what time it was. You were there. Y'all see the difference? I'm not going to ask you all these prodding questions. I'm not going to interrupt you to give my opinion because I'm listening from your point of view. I'm just here to be a sounding board so you can feel heard and validated and work through your problems. Do you understand the difference between attentive listening and empathetic listening? When you empathetically listen to somebody, here's what's going to happen at the end. You're going to talk, they're going to talk all this stuff. You're going to be like, yup, giving them good body language. Oh, I hear you. Yup. You're going to be really into it. And then at the end, you're going to say, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying A, B, and C. And they're going to do this. Look, y'all, they're going to go, yes. Right? Has anybody ever seen that happen? Where you really are connected to somebody so much, they have a physical reaction to you really listening to them and validating them. That's empathetic listening. So that's what we all want to work towards without asking probing questions, giving advice. I'm a husband. I'm so guilty of my wife has an issue. She talks me through the issue. By the end, I got 6 solutions and all her next steps. Is it possible for me to form solutions and truly listen at the same time? No. Is that even what she really needs in most cases? No. Often, she just needs to hear her own thoughts. She just needs to work through her own problem or just say it out loud to get the tension out of her body. So I had to learn how to be an empathetic listener. And when you're going to be an ally, you can't be an ally for you. The ally is to help the other person. That means you got to be an empathetic listener. That makes sense. Say who? All right. Next question. Let me do a time check. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're doing okay. So who can be an ally? I need somebody to answer this question. Nose scratcher. Who can be an ally? Anybody. Give them a round of applause. Great job. Y'all are on it because they got this on the first try earlier too. I got to give y'all credit. Usually it takes a while to get people to that point. So y'all, this group and the first group, y'all, okay, I see y'all. All right. So anybody can be an ally. Do you know why anybody can be an ally, y'all? Shh. Because every person has privilege at some point in their life. So there are some times where you're in the marginalized group, right? But there are other times where you're in the group with privilege, which means in those moments, you get to be the ally. So I was giving this talk And this one lady, she raised her hand. She's a black woman, good looking lady. And she said, I can never be an ally because I never have privilege. I said, whoa, what you mean? She said, I'm an oppressed black woman and I'm black, I'm a woman, I dealt with oppression, injustice, and she's like running it down. I'm like, okay. And she gets done. I say, you sure you never had privilege? She said, I'm sure. And I said, okay, let me ask you this. I say, have you ever gone to a nightclub with your friends? And she's like, yeah, of course. I said, okay, well, y'all looking good when you went. Makeup on, hair looking nice, nice outfit. She said, oh yeah, we step out, we come out to stunt. I said, okay. I said, when you got to that nightclub and it was about 50, 60 people in line, how long did you have to wait in line? She said, oh no, we don't wait in lines. I said, whoa. I said, you telling me you got to a nightclub, it was 50 people lined up, and you walked right to the front door and got in? She said, yes. I said, when you did that, did you grab anybody out of line? She said, no. She was confused. I said, did you have a conversation with the bouncer about letting people in? She said, no. I said, you know what they call that? She said, what? I said, privilege. Right? Because in that moment, it was totally unfair for her and her friends to get to skip the line while me and my friends, and we looking good, we got to wait in that line for like 40 minutes in the cold in Buffalo. That's not fair, is it? No. And not only did she have privilege, she ain't helped nobody. Because in that moment, she could have went to the bouncer and said, stop holding the line, let these folks in. She could have grabbed 10 ladies out of the line and said, hey, y'all act like y'all with me, come on. But she didn't do that. So what I'm trying to get you to see is that everybody in different parts of their life can have privilege, which means everybody can be an ally. And everybody needs an ally sometimes. A lot of times people think that like only people who are subjugated or oppressed with the most vicious, heinous circumstances need help or need an ally. But we all at some point need an ally. Let's imagine, let me see. Guy right here with the glasses. Can you stand up for me, sir? Yes, you. All right, you don't got to do nothing. Just hang tight for me. Let's imagine he's out of town. He's with his friends. They're in Chicago. He gets stuck at O'Hare Airport. All right? He got a big time interview tomorrow. Gets trapped at O'Hare. Just so y'all know, O'Hare is the nexus of the universe. All right? But anyway, so he's trapped at O'Hare. He got to get a haircut because he got this big interview the next day, right? So he goes to the nearest barber shop that the Uber takes him to. He walks in, surprise y'all, it's a black barber shop on the south side of Chicago. So he walks in, and it's black in there. Y'all know what I'm talking about? We having a good old time. We laughing and joking. We having LeBron Jordan debate over here. Over here, we're having a Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr. debate. Right? It's like it's all that's happening. He's sitting there by himself. Nobody's even acknowledged him yet. Guess what he needs in that moment, y'all? He needs an ally. And all it would take is one person to look at him and say, Floyd Mayweather or Roy Jones Jr. And everybody looks at him. And they wait. It's like this total silence. And then you're going to say, Mayweather. Everybody goes crazy like, yeah! Then they're like, oh, all the Mayweather people's like, that's what I'm talking about. They're high-fiving them. They say, hey, man, you getting the cut? Yeah, I'm getting the cut. All right, cool. We got you up next. Boom. All they needed was one ally. Y'all give him a round of applause. Do you understand what I'm saying? We all have privilege at certain points in our lives, and we all need an ally at certain moments in our lives. Make sense? Say, who? All right. Next is yield the floor. Listen, we've all been in spaces where we can see certain people aren't really being heard, right? Their voice isn't being respected like everybody else's. I mean, we can just be real. That happens. If you're going to be an ally, you need to make sure that we create space so that we can yield the floor to people whose voices aren't always heard. Like, for example, we get sensitive on this one, but let's be real. Have you ever been in a meeting and there might be one staff member or one colleague, it's a woman, and she's trying to talk. She's trying to get her point across, but people keep cutting her off. Anybody ever seen that? Just give me like a little wavy wave type thing. All right. All it would take is one ally to say, hey, y'all, let's hear what she's got to say. Stop interrupting Karen. Stop interrupting Jessica. Let's just hear what she's got to say. And that one moment, guess what? Makes you an ally. That's it. Just standing up, being involved, being an upstander, not a bystander. Now listen, if you're going to call yourself an upstander, that means you getting involved. That back to our video with Stone Cold Steve Austin. The bystander is the guy with the sign. I support you. They're observing and standing by and giving their opinion of a situation. I support you. I believe in this. I believe, right? An upstander is somebody who inserts themselves in the situation. They stand up for people. That's why I say allyship is a battle term, because you got to be willing to support someone in an ongoing fashion. That's an ally. All right, quick recap here. Ally, always center the impacted. Put them in the middle. It's not about you. Just because you're the hero that day, it's not about you. We want to center the impacted person or group. Listen and learn. We want to listen to someone in an empathetic way. We want to truly hear them. We want to leverage our privilege, because guess what? We all have privilege in some points of our lives. So we can leverage that to help other people. And then finally, yield the floor. We want to make sure that the people around us feel like they get the chance to speak. So we need to step back sometime and yield the floor. All right. Now, here is what you do next. Because everybody's like, a lot of times people ask me, Duncan, well, I'm a good guy. I'm a nice lady. How can I be an ally? You know, what do I do? All you have to do is ask a person that you're close to or you work with from a marginalized group, or if you see somebody in a situation where they need an ally, all you do is ask them this one question: how can I support you? That's it. They may say, I'm good. Appreciate you. I really appreciate you asking me that, but I'm okay. That's it. But they might say, I can't get the president to email me back. Or I'm having trouble getting a meeting with such as, right? Whatever it is. But if you ask a person, how can I support you? You also are committing to help them when they give you an answer. You see what I'm saying? You can't say, how can I support you? And they say, man, I just can't get a good opportunity at this, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you ask them that and they tell you, now you got to ally your action. Now you have to take action to help that person in that way that you can. Y'all understand what I'm saying? But if you ask them, that's all you got to do. You will be surprised how often people say, oh, no, thank you, I'm good, or I appreciate the support. But once in a while, somebody may say, I feel harassed, or I feel belittled, or I feel like nobody here cares about me. That's why we have so many teachers leaving the education profession. Nobody's asking each other, how can I support you? Because if you feel great at your job, even if the salary ain't what you would really desire, but you love going to work and you feel valued and supported, guess what? You're still excited to go to work every day, even though you're not making as much as you may want. Is that fair to say? This is a big time question. And just ask her, hey, how can I support you? He might say, hey, Duncan, can you teach me this? Yep, I got you. Boom. Now he feels more supported. Now he feels more valued. All right. Recap, we talked about connections to our opinions. Who we are is not connected to our opinions. So it's okay that we have differences of opinions. We see things differently. We talked about what is an ally, the bystander versus the upstander. And we talked about next step, asking people, how can I support you? I want to give this last example. This is my favorite civil rights moment. This is the Bloody Sunday march where they marched over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. Now, I went to college in Montgomery, Alabama, so I've been to this bridge. It's like 50 minutes from Montgomery. So what makes it my favorite civil rights moment is it's a bridge that goes up. It's like a high arching bridge. So when you stand at the top of the bridge, think about this. It's in the 60s. We stand at the top of a bridge. We made this decision. We're going to have a march for voting rights, okay? When you look down the bridge, you see police, dogs, batons, fire hoses ready to go. And you know what they did? They locked arms and started singing "We Shall Overcome" as they marched right into these dogs and police fire hoses and all of that stuff. You know what type of courage that takes? Listen, I love voting. But if you line up 7 Rockwallers and some fire hoses, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like can I be? I don't know. I don't know if I love it that much. You know, but they marched right into it. But the reason I'm showing y'all this is because if you look at this picture, it's a lot of white people standing there with the black civil rights leaders. Change is accomplished when we stand together, when we're allies to each other. And listen, it's a battle term. They weren't on the sideline with signs saying Black Lives Matter, voting rights are important. They were marching arm in arm into danger. Now listen, I'm not asking y'all to go march into the dogs and the fire hoses, okay? I'm just asking y'all to get along, okay? Right? We're just saying, let's stand arm in arm and stand up for what's right. Whatever that looks like for whoever is in our workplace, whoever's in our district. We see something that's wrong, you just stop and say, hey, that's not okay, and you stand with them. Is that fair? That makes sense? Say who? All right. Any questions? I got time for 1 or 2 questions. Or feedback, something that helped you, that resonated, that you're going to take with you today. Raise your hand. Thank you. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you so much. I've got something for you when we get done. I ain't got nothing else to give out though. But yes, ma'am. Oh, guy behind her, can you make sure she don't fall? You got me? Appreciate you. I didn't see it. No, I was worried about you falling, your safety. It says never give up. I love it. I love it. Yeah, help her out. Help her out. I do not have speaker insurance for this event. All right. Thank you very much, miss. All right. One more other thought, question before I shut it down. Yes, ma'am. No problem. I love it. Woo! I receive it. I receive that. Thank you. All right. So with that, I will turn it back over to your staff. You all have been amazing. A lot of you have asked about books and stuff. If you want, I can give you my cell phone number over here if you want to get books, t-shirts, whatever. But like I said, I know, they talked about they may be doing something. So they're going to do something. So I don't know. You talk to the VIPs, okay? Talk to the dignity. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Big round of applause for Duncan. Thank you so much. So we hope that you had a good day. I know it's been a long day. Welcome back to school. We're looking forward to a great school year. Also like to say thank you to Andrew, Steve, and the team with our tech to make sure that went okay. So thank you. Round of applause. So AUP, if you're an AUP staff member, you have a meeting in the student cafeteria unless you work at Endicott or West Learning Centers. Everybody else, AUP meeting in the student cafeteria. Have a great afternoon. All DEI committee members, please come on up here. DEI committee members. Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody.